you guys, it's Tuesday. We're super glad to be back here at Anything But Average, Achieving Success in Life. I am Tricia Turner. I am in Houston, Texas, and we had one hell of a winter storm last week, so we weren't here. We had no power. And I've got my good friend Dan Hilsman with me today, and I'm super glad that he's here. He's used to the snow, I think, a lot more than I am. Thanks for being here today, Dan.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be on today.
So, hey, just before we get started, did you guys get one crazy snowstorm too?
No.
See?
No.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, I think we had like about 1/10 of an inch.
See, for us, it was like ice and freezing and no power and no internet. It was like total devastation, like nobody was connected to anything. And it happened like, it was kind of like when, the pandemic hit, we were just smooth cruising. All of a sudden, everything was good, and then everything was bad like that. And it was just like that.
That's crazy.
So crazy how it does. And so here for us in the real estate world in Houston, we had such momentum going, just like you guys. Y'all have a low inventory too. And so it came to a screeching halt naturally. And so now it's like cranking it back up again. It's crazy.
Yep.
So I'm super glad that we're able to do this today. And for you guys that pay attention, y'all know I usually have like a series going on, and what are we focusing on? Because I believe there should be a purpose to everything. And for me, I am continually reminded of how my life has changed in the last 2 years and how grateful I am, for my friendship with people like Dan and our whole group of people that we collaborate with because of EXP. And so I thought I wanted to bring Dan on. Number one, he's in a different area completely from where I am. And I wanted him to share a little bit about his story, where he's come from, and how his life has changed in the last 2 years, because he also was an independent broker owner, and his day-to-day business is completely different than it was 2, 3, 4 years ago. So Dan, if you could tell everybody a little bit about you, like where you come from, where you are right now, and how long you've been in real estate, and what led you up to making that switch with EXP.
Yeah, so thank you very much. So Dan Hilsman, Metro Atlanta area, been licensed over 20 years. Long time ago, I thought I'd get a broker's license, open my own company, and keep all the money. And so, then after that, I had a friend that said, hey, why don't you come be a broker in charge for my company? So I did that for a little while. I think we had 9 agents. And then after that, I was a team leader. And so found EXP Realty. So big deal at EXP Realty. When I left the last brokerage, I think that year I did 21 deals. So not a mega producing type agent, but, just a guy grinding it out and having a pretty good quality life. And, enough deals to be happy and go on a few vacations, but not too many deals where I was running around nuts. And I could also do a good job for my clients. So enjoyed that, found EXP Realty and fell in love with the model, and then did some research and, found our now friend Jay Kinder and Michael Reese, and they've helped me to help agents at a higher level than I could being my broker owner, broker in charge, or running a team.
Okay, so I want to go back to something that you said right off the bat, was when you had your own independent brokerage because you want to keep all the money. What kind of a misconception is that? Were you like, money's just raking in, no expenses, it's just glory? What was that like for you?
Yeah, so for me, there's different experiences. If you ask different, but for me, it was, I'll kind of fast forward to the end of that story. So at the end of the story, I thought I had to drive. Now, this was a while back, so tell you times changed, but I did have to drive to find a county building, to find the office, to find the file cabinet that the 1099 was in.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So at that point, I thought, I got home, I think it was like 3.5, 4 hours later, and I thought, I just want to sell real estate. I didn't want to have to deal with all that. And then I'd been dealing with E&O, and I'd dealing with the FMLS and Georgia MLS. Here we have 2 MLSs. And then by the time I got done doing the daily task of broker owner, and then also to work with buyers and sellers, and then to start talking to agents, that was more than my personal bandwidth could handle, or wanted to handle.
So, and if you look back on that now and think about it, if you would have stayed in business, what would your life be like right now? Well, you may not have made it, because as the real estate industry has changed dramatically and the costs have increased incredibly because of technology and the platforms and everything you should be supplying for your agents. Could you imagine what your expenses would be to run a brokerage?
Yeah, they would be way, well, I don't, my guess would be 30, 40, 50%. And then also, a big deal that I learned later is I wouldn't have been plugged in. I mean, at the time I was aware that I was not quite as plugged into the real estate community, what was going on, but even now,
You froze.
if you
Hold on.
can
There you are.
still see me there,
Can you
there you
see me
go.
there? Is it all good now? You got froze up.
Yeah.
It'll come
Computer
back. How crazy.
glitched a little.
Yeah, it's all good. Okay, so then after you got out of having your own brokerage and you were running a company for he'll be back, y'all. So maybe he's having some power shortages there. But while we're waiting for him to come back on, I thought he's a super awesome person to talk to, because his life has changed so much because of EXP, but mine has too. So if you don't know, I also owned my own brokerage, worked my way I've been in real estate forever. So I went from agent to got my broker's license. That was like always my goal. And my goal when I got my broker's license was because I had worked for all the big box companies. I'd been at Keller Williams, Remax, all those. Here he comes.
There we go.
So I was like, I got to do something different because these poor agents are getting neglected and nobody's really helping them like they should be. So that's the reason I opened my own brokerage. But Dan's right. It's a pain in the ass. It's super expensive. And when you think of it, at the end of the day, are you really doing a good service for your agents? Because what's coming at us with, oh my gosh, well, with Zillow acquiring Showing Time, that's very disruptive here in Houston, very disruptive. And I can't even imagine like trying to fight Zillow on my own or fight any of these disruptors, which we don't because we're together with EXP.
Right.
It's like, oh, we'll bring it on anybody,
Yep.
We're not going anywhere.
Yep.
So for you, when you look at how your life has changed, what are you doing? What's a day-to-day life look like? How long have you been with EXP now?
Just coming up on 3 years, a couple months short of 3 years. To touch that a little bit, it's something we might not realize fully, but wow, what a blessing it is to be able to connect with the people that we need to connect to. So when I was broker in charge, even, or broker owner, a little bit of running the team. When I was running the team, I did have a broker and owner that I could go to, but now we're just totally plugged in. So there's a peace of mind. I mean, if I don't know something or if I'm struggling with something, I have many people that can help me. Whereas before, traditional real estate, not too many people really want to help you. I mean,
no,
nothing like what we're doing.
Here in Texas, they have the Texas State meeting in the auditorium in the World, which is online for you guys. It's virtual. And so I don't have to worry about training everybody about what's up and coming. I just listen while, I got something going on. I'm listening to their meeting there in the World, and I'm hearing updates, policies, everything that's changing. Yep. You guys have the same thing. Every state has a different monthly, weekly meeting,
Yep. So to answer your question, though, day to day looks like half the time I probably spend with current agents trying to help them to either build their business or to have, the newer ones to help with real estate sales. And then a quarter of my day, I talk to new agents. And then a quarter of the day, I try to follow up with agents that I've already had a conversation. I've had at least one good conversation with. So that's just an outline of what I try to have my day look like. Well, and I forgot, then I still work with buyers and sellers. So maybe it's a quarter. So yeah, then I have to, when we get off here, I have to look for my amendments to address concern that just came over on a listing I have. So, so real estate sales, team leader, rainmaker, and, also helping agents build their business. And that's what I'm super passionate about all of it, but I love helping agents build their business. Because that's something I couldn't really do before. You couldn't come work on my team and then me to help you. I mean, the best thing I could do when you're on my team, and I could give you a high dollar cash buyer, that's great, but it's great for a month or two, and then you need another one, right?
Well, yes. And so now with the model that you have, how many agents have you invited into the company and that you actually work with? Not on your team, but that you've invited in?
Yep, 44.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so when you look at that, how I can only imagine how grateful they must be, because like you just
Mhm.
said, you're not just trying to give them a lead or a transaction, you're helping them build wealth. You're helping them build a retirement.
Yep. Yeah,
You
it's
know,
a
and
whole
that's what people don't
opportunity.
realize.
Yeah, a multi-level opportunity with just opportunity stacked on top of opportunity. So depends on that agent and what they want to dig into and what they want help with. But the sky's the limit here. I mean, for the first time in my life, I really can honestly and sincerely tell an agent, hey, what do you need help with? You need to go from 0 deals if you're new to 10 deals. You need to go 10 to 20, 20 to 40. You want to sell hundreds of deals? Well, we have people that can help you with that too.
And so you pretty much are like a connector because
Mm-hmm.
of this network that we have. You can connect them to the toppest producers in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
for
that's a
sure.
huge blessing, because real estate's hard.
Yeah. Yeah, and
There's
it's
a
company
mental
wide too. I mean, it's whole company wide, so I don't just focus on people in our group. I do maybe initially, but I have an agent right now, or maybe two, that are following a free coaching program from a different agent at EXP that's not in our group, and they're getting tremendous value out of that. And that agent doesn't mind. I'm grateful. The two agents that I have with him are super excited. And luckily, I was humble enough when I looked at his stuff and looked at his program. I thought, you know what? I mean, my first thought was, I need to recreate that. My next thought was, no, I don't. And then my next thought was, it'll take you forever, and you probably won't. It would be very hard to duplicate it nearly as good as he did it.
And
So,
why?
yeah, and he doesn't. He's totally fine with them hopping on, and so that would have never happened in traditional real estate.
No, and here in Houston, and I don't know how it is there, but here in Houston, it definitely matters who you get aligned with EXP, because it's a
Mm-hmm.
big company. So
Mm-hmm.
here we have, there was some rumors that went around before about, oh, they're just a bunch of recruiters. They really don't care about the agents. And it's like, that is so far from the truth, because if you just heard everything that you just said, you're alluding to how much you are totally digging into your agents, totally making sure they're connected to the best people in the
Mm-hmm.
world for them to be connected to. How
Mm-hmm.
else can you do that? You can't.
No, can't do it.
And as a broker owner, if you're in your own company and you are the end all, basically, it is
Yep.
on you to be making sure they have the best resources. It's on you to make sure they have the top of the notch training and they know the newest tools, what's working, what's not. My gosh, that's a huge headache, and it's super hard to keep up with, especially as fast as things are changing. We don't have to do that.
Right.
That's
No,
another
that's a
beauty.
big burden. It's hard to sleep at night when you have that weight on your shoulders too.
It is. And it's like, really, what are you doing for your agents? You're old school in it. You're totally old school in it. The way and how fast things are going now. Here's one thing that's like great for me. One of mine is that when I had my own brokerage and was just running that, it was all on me, whether the agents were producing or not. Somebody's got to pay the bills. Somebody's got to pay the rent. Somebody's got to pay the staff. That all fell on me. And so it was super hard to prepare for anything retirement, because it's always going back into the company. And it was not even, I probably didn't look at my EXP stock for the first year, quite honestly. And so that was never the big thing for me. It was like, it wasn't about building stock, because I'm a hustler anyway. So I'm always going to be moving. So I never really paid attention to that until I started seeing all of our friends on Facebook posting stuff. And I'm like, man, I need to take a look at this and actually see what mine's done. And I was like, well, Merry Christmas. That's insane. And so now, of course, I've been paying attention to it ever since, like crazy. And that's when it became such an eye-opener to me, and why I'm doing this series on, we really need to get out there and be more vocal about how this company is changing our lives and our agents' lives, because there is no other real estate company that provides that kind of security. If you get sick tomorrow, God forbid, your wife and you and your family, you have something to fall back on should you not be able to work for 3 or 4 or 5 months or 6 months or a year. You have something. I have something. If stay healthy forever, I know that what I have already invested, I'll leave to my family, and they'll be doing great. They'll be like, well, thank you, Mom. And I can't even imagine how the rest is going to go, because we're not going anywhere. We're just going to keep building the company and building our agents and helping them do more and sell more. So it's like, why in the world would you not want to be with the best real estate company in the world?
For sure. Yeah, the stock. I'm not a stock guy. I've never owned stock prior to EXP.
Really?
And no. And then when I looked the other day, it was enough almost to pay off oceanfront condo that I have.
I love that.
Yeah, so I didn't pay it off yet. But I think my awards come due starting in about 4 months. So maybe by the end of the year, but then I'll have to go, I'll probably just leave it there. The plan was just to ignore it, leave it there, and let it grow. And that's, but yeah, it blows my mind. I mean, 20 plus years, I don't have any stock from any other company. And now I have, more stock than I've ever made in 1 year of income in any one company. So in less than 3 years.
Yeah.
So imagine that, more income than my best year ever in real estate I have in free stock, and I bought a little of it with a discount. But I think even the free stock would equal that. So that's mind blowing. And, so I tell agents, hey, just come on over, buy it at a discount, help the company grow, and then leave it there and see. I mean, I'm not giving stock advice, but if you leave it there, it'll be worth more than whatever stock you have at your current company.
Totally. We have an agent here in my group. She was in corporate America for, I think she said 15 years. And so she had a 401k. She got out of corporate America and she got into real estate. When she left her corporate job, she had only $40,000 in her 401k from the company. And so she's been with us. This is year 2 for her. And she, of course, already has surpassed that way more than, and so she's like, she's blessed beyond, and it's game changing, life changing.
Yep. I'm super excited. Super great.
I am too. So with you in your real estate world there, like when you look at your goals for the future and you look at what your plans are, what does that look like? Has your life changed? Are you planning things differently for the next 2, 5, 10 years?
My life has changed a lot in that I'm not worried about the end game anymore. So that's a big deal. I have a really good exit strategy that I'm working on at eXp Realty. I was always passionate and wanted to try to help agents at a higher level. So those prayers are being answered. So that's pretty neat. And that's something that I plan on doing. I'm not probably the kind of guy that would retire, but, maybe I live in a different place, or, one of my big whys is want to retire my wife, and she still works. So that's, something that I move forward each day with, try to move the needle a little bit. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully I'm not the kind of guy that money will really change, but things in my life will change because of money. And, I'm excited for my kids and, the future or the lack of worry that they may have someday. And it is an inheritable asset. So, someone in my family can get licensed within 12 months and then they could inherit the revenue share that I have. And they could even not do anything with it. So if I built my own independent company and left it to a child that was not in real estate, it wouldn't work.
It would be a pile of bills, really.
Yeah, they would. I guess they could hire somebody to run it, but then there wouldn't be. Even if it was pretty darn successful, if they had to hire someone to run it, then there's still, the margins are pretty thin, generally speaking, and there probably won't be much there. Yeah, but they could truly not do anything with the revenue share and just collect it, and as it grew or stayed the same, or even if it dwindled, they don't. It's not like it would crash like an independent company would the day that I'd be gone. So,
did you ever look at the Keller Williams profit share model?
I didn't. I remember getting calls from Keller Williams, and then prior to eXp, I'm become aware that there's 2 reasons people do most of anything, really, pain or pleasure. Yep. And so I got calls from Keller Williams. I guess I was a guy that was usually between 15 and 20 something deals, so I would get recruiting calls.
Yep.
But the last company I was at, I would tell them, look, I'm on a 94% split. You can't really give me 100. And there's nothing between 94 to 100 that you can give me, and you can't give me 100 anyway. So whatever number less than 100 to 94, I'm not leaving. So appreciate your call, but just not happening. But yeah, and I remember a long time ago, I got a call from a Keller Williams guy, and I told him, I said, look, I don't want to tell anybody about real estate. This is a pretty hard gig. I was just trying to figure it out myself. I thought, last thing I want to do is tell somebody to come do this. This is challenging. And I enjoyed it, but it wasn't anything on my opinion. It was just, my opinion at that time was, it's a pretty hard job to do.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to figure it out. So I'm certainly not going to try to encourage somebody to get a license and come to Keller Williams. So thanks, but no thanks. But yeah, so but now it's kind of funny, but now I, try to find people that I can help in the real estate business, but I'm in a different place. I can actually help you now. Whereas before, when I got those calls, I couldn't help you. I could barely help myself.
Well, for me, when I was trying to figure it all out, because I was a single mom and I didn't have my broker's license. And at that time, here I had been at Keller Williams before, back in 2003 for my first time. And what was really obvious to me, every experience that I was at, whether it was at Remax, Gary Green, Coldwell Banker, all of them, my experience with all of them was maybe they're willing to help you a little bit, just to pacify you, kind of like a yes man. You ask a question and they're gonna give you a one-word answer, but to really set you up on a path to where it's like, okay, if you want to make $1 million a year, these are your number of transactions you got to do per year, per month, per day. And then this is what you call, this is how you do it. This is what you say. Nobody ever was out there. People talked about coaching and, hey, have you hired a coach? Well, yeah, you can always hire a coach, but it's different the way that we do things in our organization. Because it's like, I can call you, I can call probably at least 40 people that I know that we are like tight with, you, me, all of us, and get on a call with them at any time, can go fly there at any time and sit in their office for the day if I want and be like, hey, how'd you run your team? Nobody offers that.
Yeah, that's a big deal. And back to the peace of mind, so maybe we need to do that a little tiny bit, but just knowing that every single day, every single hour of every day, if I needed that, I have it available. That's a big, you can't put a price on that.
You can't put a price on that. And with us, like my biggest thing, like, because I go to Lakewood Church, and so Joel Osteen always says, and I've been there for 11 years, and so he always says in his sermons at the end, he's always like, when you invite people here, tell them to give it a year, it'll change their life. And I honestly, with EXP, I say that with EXP, I'm like, well, what your current situation there you're at right now, for one, it can't offer all the things that we say and do. So why don't you give it a year? Because I guarantee you, if you give it a year with us, we'll change your life. What do you got to lose?
Exactly.
I mean, you're dealing with people like you and me that have hearts. Look at Michael and Jay. It's like they don't have to work. They work because they want to, because they love helping people and they love growing the company. They don't have to work.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they could put their phone away if they wanted to.
No. And when we get around, because for you guys that don't know, we do like quarterly masterminds where we meet. We'll go off into a pretty cool spot usually, but because of COVID, we've been shut down. And so we usually spend 3 days together at least, and it's all about growing each other's business. How can we help each other, and just energizing with each other? And that's the coolest experience ever. And when you look at that group of people that we collaborate with, those are people that are making a difference in the world.
Yep, for sure. Yep. Learn a lot there. Yeah, learn a lot there.
If we didn't have this here together.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Where are we going? St. Thomas, I think, in October?
Yes.
September, October.
Yeah. That's not a bad place to go and do a mastermind, right?
No, we'll have to, looking forward to it. So yeah, hopefully the world gets a little bit more squared away and we'll make that happen. So I know it's already on the book. So yeah.
Hey Dan, how can anyone there in your area or anywhere, because you can help everybody, doesn't matter if they're in Atlanta, right? How can they find you? Because you guys, if y'all haven't been paying attention to Dan, you need to check him out because he does training as well. Don't you still do your Zoom training too?
Yeah, we have 3 a week. Actually, we just started one we piggyback off of that's weekly. So I guess that would be 7 total. And so great question. You can go to www.dansrealestatesolutions.com. And that's a good place to find me, calendar and information there, or you can call me at 678-907-1853.
And those Zooms that you're doing, are they for anyone or do they have to be with EXP?
So the cool thing about it is I'll have a conversation with you and then it's for anyone. So anyone that I've had a conversation that I know is serious about wanting to grow their business, or serious about looking at an opportunity, or if I think they just seriously need some help and they're open, then we invite them. So yeah, I use it as an invite. It's not just EXP. So actually earlier today, I was sending some invites out for tomorrow morning at 9:00. We have a coaching call, and sent it to agents in my group, and probably send it to, I'd say 10 or 12 agents not in our group yet that are kind of on their way over or looking into the opportunity. And they don't ever have to come over. We'll still help them, and they can sit in on some of our coaching calls. And worst case scenario is maybe we'll help them sell some more homes, and then that'll help them and their family out. So happy to do that too.
Just from you saying that alone, I do sales meetings in person here in our office every Monday morning. Plus, we do a Zoom thing. But I have an agent. I won't say his name, but he's older, and he's been in real estate probably 30 plus years. He was at a big name brokerage before coming to with us. And we were talking yesterday in our meeting, and I was introducing another new agent to everybody. And so I was introducing our older agent, and I was telling everybody, everyone how long you've been in the business. And our older agent was like, well, technically I've been in it forever. He said, but I honestly don't count any of those years until I met Tricia and got with EXP, because I've done more in my entire career since I've been with them.
Isn't that cool? Deal. That is super cool.
Yeah, like 30 plus years, and he's been at Keller Williams and all the other companies forever,
Yep. Yeah. No,
so I was awesome. Like, that was impactful.
Yeah. Well, if anybody's watching this and you're trying to figure out real estate, give Tricia a call, because if I wasn't already here, I'd call her.
Give Dan a call too, because it's like, man, he's just pure as they come. He's really and genuinely out to help everybody, just like we all are.
Yeah, sure.
It's not a game. We're serious.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this with me today, Dan.
I hope I had some value, and God bless, and hope everybody has a great rest of your day.
Definitely. You guys, we will see y'all later.
Thank you.
See you on the next one, right?
Yeah. Thanks.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.